Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm thrilled to have you here today. We're about to dive into a fascinating topic, the psychology of attraction, why bad boys and girls appeal. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, oh no, here we go with another rant. But let me clarify, this isn't about blame or judgment. It's about understanding human psychology and the science behind attraction, which is actually much more complex than most people realize. Over the next few slides, we'll explore why some women seem drawn to partners who treat them poorly, while the nice, caring guys often go unnoticed. So let's get started. Men who are emotionally inconsistent, sometimes affectionate, sometimes distant, can unintentionally trigger this same psychological response. When that happens, the attention they give becomes a reward you want to earn again. Your brain can get confused, mistaking that tension for passion, excitement, and deep chemistry. But in reality, it's often just psychological manipulation dressed up as love. Imagine someone who compliments you every day. Over time, that kind of consistent praise can lose its emotional punch. But if someone rarely gives you compliments and then suddenly says something kind, your brain lights up like a Christmas tree. That's because our minds are wired to respond strongly to unpredictability. And this is where the first key concept comes in: intermittent reinforcement. Think of it like gambling, which is incredibly addictive because rewards are unpredictable. When affection or attention is given sporadically, your brain becomes more invested in chasing that reward. It's a powerful mechanism that keeps you hooked, even when the reward isn't consistent. So, in essence, this psychological trick makes us crave those unpredictable moments of affection, blurring the line between genuine connection and manipulation. Understanding this helps us see through the illusion and recognize when we might be chasing something that's not truly healthy or authentic. The real tragedy here is that emotionally healthy, self-assured men often get labeled as boring by those who are used to chaos and intensity. Meanwhile, insecure men who fake confidence through emotional games and power plays create this illusion of passion. But in reality, it's just instability disguised as excitement. Here's the key point most people miss. Women aren't truly attracted to the negative behaviors themselves. Instead, they're attracted to what they believe those behaviors represent. What looks like an attraction to bad boys is really an attraction to confidence, leadership, and mystery. Even though society has evolved, our brains haven't fully caught up. Many women are still unconsciously drawn to displays of power and confidence, even if those displays are wrapped in emotional unavailability or arrogance. For thousands of years, women needed partners who could protect them and their children. Traits like confidence, assertiveness, and dominance weren't just attractive, they were essential for survival. And now, let's touch on something that might sound controversial: evolutionary psychology. This field helps us understand that our attraction to confidence stems from deep evolutionary roots. It's not just about individual preference, it's about what our ancestors needed to survive and pass on their genes. So, even today, our brains are wired to seek out those qualities, even if the context has changed dramatically. Understanding this helps us see why confidence and leadership continue to hold such powerful appeal. So, what we're really talking about here is that these patterns are not something we choose consciously, nor are they a character flaw. Instead, they're how our brains wire themselves based on early emotional experiences. We tend to repeat what we know, even if that knowledge is unhealthy for us. This is what we refer to as unconscious wiring. Our brains automatically seek out situations that feel familiar because, deep down, that familiarity feels safe. For example, as adults, some people might unconsciously seek relationships that mirror their childhood dynamics. It's not because they enjoy suffering, but because those patterns are what their brain recognizes as normal. Now, if someone grew up in an environment where love was unpredictable, conditional, or mixed with conflict, their brain learns to associate love with emotional highs and lows. It's a kind of hidden blueprint, what we call childhood attachment patterns, that influences how we relate to others well into adulthood. Understanding this helps us see that these behaviors aren't about personal weakness, They're about how our early experiences shape our emotional wiring. And recognizing these patterns is the first step toward changing them. It's not just about logic, it's really about psychology. We tend to chase after what's moving away from us, and we pull back from what's actively chasing us. It's a fascinating paradox. When someone seems just out of reach, our desire to win their approval skyrockets. Our brains get caught up in this game of scarcity and challenge. On the flip side, when someone is overly available, constantly agreeable, and always accommodating, our brains actually start to see them as less valuable. It's almost counterintuitive, but humans naturally value what's difficult to obtain. Psychologists call this the challenge principle, that the harder something is to get, the more we want it. So, whether it's in relationships or other areas of life, this principle explains why we often pursue what's just out of reach and why we're less interested in what's too easy to have. It's a key part of understanding human behavior and motivation. When it comes to success in relationships, the men who truly thrive aren't arrogant or manipulative. Instead, they exude confidence without crossing into control. They're available and present without coming across as clingy. And they're assertive but never cruel. These men challenge their partners, both intellectually and emotionally, not to dominate but to inspire growth and understanding. What this really means is that genuine confidence, setting clear boundaries, and having a strong sense of self are universally attractive traits. These qualities draw people in because they show security and authenticity. Now, I want to clarify something important. Being kind is never a weakness. It's not about pretending to be someone you're not or acting cruel to get attention. Women don't secretly enjoy being mistreated, and healthy relationships are built on respect and kindness. So, just to be clear, these principles aren't about being a jerk or playing games. They're about being confident, respectful, and emotionally mature. That's what creates real connection and lasting attraction. When we look at society's perspective on attraction, it's clear there's a double standard at play. When a man pursues a woman, people often label him as whipped or suggest that she's out of his league. It's almost as if society expects men to pursue without any emotional vulnerability. But when a woman does the same, the reactions are quite different. Instead of admiration or understanding, there's often questioning of her intelligence or emotional stability. Neither of these views is fair or accurate. Both stem from misunderstandings about how attraction fundamentally works. The truth is, both men and women fall into these psychological traps. Men often chase emotionally unavailable women, and women sometimes fall for emotionally distant men. It's a pattern that's rooted in human psychology, not gender. This double standard skews how we see relationships and can prevent us from understanding genuine connection. Recognizing this helps us move beyond stereotypes and see attraction for what it truly is, a complex, mutual process that doesn't conform to outdated notions. This understanding is crucial as we aim to build healthier, more authentic relationships. Healthy attraction isn't about chasing validation or avoiding rejection. Instead, it comes from two emotionally mature people choosing each other freely, not out of need, but because of genuine connection and respect. When we're truly healthy, we prioritize authentic bonds over superficial validation. If you're feeling invisible because you're too nice, it might not be your kindness itself. It could be a sign that you lack self-assurance or boundaries. Sometimes, we try so hard to be liked that we forget to be real. Reflecting on your patterns is important, especially if you're attracted to people who don't treat you well. That pattern often reflects your own attachment style, comfort zones, or beliefs about love. The key is to examine those underlying patterns and work toward healthier ways of relating. Remember, genuine attraction flows from a place of emotional maturity, where both people choose each other out of connection, not need. That's not just attraction. That's evolution. When we go beyond simply seeking out what feels exciting or thrilling, we actually grow and develop as individuals. It's about shifting from chasing chaos or mistaking anxiety for excitement, which can be so tempting when we're caught up in the highs and lows of relationships. Instead, when we do this inner work, we stop chasing people who can't meet us emotionally because we've met ourselves first. We become more aware of our triggers, our patterns, and what we truly need emotionally. The real goal here isn't about learning tricks to manipulate attraction or make someone fall for us. It's about understanding ourselves, our fears, our habits, what makes us feel secure or insecure. By doing that, we can build relationships rooted in stability, authenticity, and trust. Because true connection comes from being genuine and knowing who we are, not from trying to control or manipulate the situation. So this shift, this evolution, is about creating healthier, more meaningful relationships that reflect who we truly are. That's the real goal.